different age groups, you're training corporates, so different walks of life, people from different walks of life are coming, different age groups, what is your methodology of teaching, addressing all this group?
The methodology, it's actually very, very simple. So I speak of awareness on many levels. So I start with the body awareness, then I move on to the emotional awareness, and then the awareness of the mind and awareness of awareness itself, which is what meditation is about. My guru, Dr. Swami Geetananda, this is the definition he gave of yoga, and I'm very, very grateful to Swamiji as well as my Acharini, his wife Meenakshi Devi, because they teach it in a Gurukulam system. Okay. And in Pondicherry, when you go and stay in a Gurukulam, you're actually reworking your patterns of behavior. So of course, like you said, in corporates, it's a one-day workshop. So what is the methodology I adopt? So this is about giving them little tips that they can apply in their lives at any point in time. So it's not about this 1 hour or 2 hours that they have to set aside, but bringing their mind to different or various aspects of their life as and when they think of yoga. So it's not relating to yoga from, okay, only if I bring my right leg around my head, that is yoga. So they're making active choices about their lives at every minute, every moment. That is the yoga that is practiced. And a lot of techniques are taught, of course. So the techniques can be applied whenever you want that shift in perspective. So maybe if you're highly stressed, you take that 2 minutes off and you breathe a little deeper. Or maybe you check your body alignment and say, where am I holding the stress? Is it in the shoulders? Maybe just do a shoulder shrug, release. If you're sitting in front of the computer and in front of the TV, all of you are sitting in front of the TV for long hours, then how is it that you're holding your body? What is the strain that is on your eyes? So probably you can close your eyes, maybe rub your palms and relax your eyes for a while. So these are the changes that you bring in the system. So again, this comes with consciousness. Otherwise, we are doing things out of habit. So we don't even observe how we're sitting, how we're breathing, what we're thinking, what we're eating. We just, it's like one mechanical life that keeps on going on.
Looking at the stress management, which is very important given the busy world today. Could you elaborate? How do you look at the stress management from the individual perspective, from the corporate perspective? Because sometimes, I do all the yoga meditation, but my boss tells, okay, come at the mid of the night. You need work. We are forced into situations which we don't have control. So how do you train the corporate bodies on stress management, and how do you train the individuals?
Okay. Now when it comes to situations, now one is the attitude we take towards the situation. So if we can do something about the situation, then we change it, or if we cannot do anything about the situation, then we learn to accept it rather than wasting more energy worrying about it or getting upset over it. So that's the way we have to deal with life.
No, the point I wanted to ask is, do you tell the corporate bosses, okay, this is not the way of working, or this is not the culture you have to cultivate among your subordinates?
Yes.
What sort of ideas, suggestions you give?
See, in terms of the bosses, if there is top management or middle management people, then they themselves understand how desensitized they have become, because they become cut away from their own stress, because the mind is somehow working independently of their body, of their breathing. So when they have that time to sit down, be aware of how they're holding their body, then they realize, oh my God, I have so many aches and pains and back aches and headaches and everything. So first there is a sensitization process in these people. Then they realize the more sensitivity they build in themselves, they're going to realize that they cannot afford to make their workforce burn out at a young age. So then they start seeing the connection, and they know that the burnout rates are becoming very, very high, especially in software, because of the high turnaround period. Constantly there is stress, and when there is stress, the body is taking energy from the reserves. So you're not actually creating energy, but whatever reserve energy is there, you're using up that energy. So if you don't put back energy, what happens? Ultimately there is a depletion and there is a burnout. So they have to realize that, at this rate, they will lose people at 30 and even 28 to heart attacks. And a lot of software companies are doing that in terms of losing people to heart attacks. And earlier it was unheard of Anybody who had a heart attack at 40, you'd say, oh my God, he's so young, you know, why did this happen? But now 30 is like, it's a common age to have a heart attack.
The center of the discussion, our program is basically about youth.
Okay.
Being a youth, how do you advise other youths? Yoga is important, the topic we are discussing today, it is important. How do you convince them, and what is the right age, or how can they practice?
Okay. So if you look at yoga, the best age to start is when you're young, because your habits have not become ingrained. Now at 50 to change somebody is a lot more difficult than to change somebody at 5. So 5 or 6
Correct.
is a much better age to start off, to put positive patterns into the system. So everybody, I feel, should start. So the phrase word also, catch them young. I think you should catch them young. That's the best way to go about it. And with the youngsters also, there's a lot of peer pressure to conform. So if your friends are going out and having a good time right through the night, maybe abusing alcohol. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't have fun. You should have fun. You should have a lot of recreation. You should mingle with people. But again, knowing the limitations and drawing those lines, that is very, very important. And understanding the repercussions of what is happening. So taking responsibility is very, very important for the youth, I feel.
The point I can see from your talk is, by doing all these things, they are not going to miss the fun.
Definitely
but
not.
They can know the right way of enjoying the fun.
Yes, yes, definitely. Because there is a misconception. People think those who are practicing yoga are boring old people who've given up on life, and that is such a misnomer. That's not the